There is the concept of the Kano model. I don't know if any of your audience or you may be aware of this, Kano. It's a sort of a product management kind of model, which sort of breaks down features into things that have got three different attributes. There are kind of threshold attributes, like things that absolutely have to be in the product for it to work. There are kind of performance attributes whereby the more of something you give, the better things are. And then there are these kind of delighter attributes where, you put a small thing in and it can have an outsized effect. And I'll give you a classic example. Like if you are designing a hotel room, you absolutely have to have a bed. If someone checks in and there's no bed there, then it's not a hotel room. So that's a threshold attribute. Your product absolutely has to have this. You might decide that these days it has to have a TV as well. But you might decide that the bigger the TV, with the more cable channels, the more happy the customer will be. And so maybe you decide to put a 72-inch screen and it's got free, video on demand and all this kind of stuff. That's a performance attribute. And these are the kind of things that engineering teams and product teams tend to focus on. They're easy, they're sizable, they're things that you can immediately kind of like scope and put into a backlog. But often there's something that hotels do which actually doesn't take an awful lot of effort. I stayed in one hotel room, whereas when the hotel turned around my room, they had a handwritten note on the pillow that said, "Hey, tomorrow it's going to rain. We've left you an umbrella." There are obviously the classic, hotel things of, leaving you chocolates on the pillow or, giving you a welcome bottle of champagne or whatever. Like, if you imagine what these things might be in terms of a product roadmap, these are often things that would get, ignored on a product roadmap.